So the Sun conjunct Mars in a Synastry aspect, it's a very hot and steamy contact between the two hottest points and planets of the zodiac. And so naturally when they are in contact, there's a warmth, there's a passionate, a high vibrational sensation, a drive, a yearning to connect and contact with between each other, because there's almost like this understanding that as they come together, they could be going somewhere that overthrows challenges, that conquests things that separately it would be much harder to get. It's almost like joining forces unconsciously to reach a goal or to reach a desire that requires either a lot of physical energy or a lot of mental energy and focus, discipline, or a lot of stamina and a lot of vitality to pull through whatever it is that the goal. And when I'm saying the goal, it could be the goal to get something individually or even within the connection itself. And this is usually when some of the most kind of negative manifestations of this contact can appear, as in, for example, competition, anger issues, because it's usually, especially in a conjunction, this happens when we're not working together, when we're not collaborating and cooperating towards a common drive and a common goal in the relationship, or when we're not as physically compatible or as physically present with each other. This is a connection and a contact that does require a lot of physical interaction, or there's a physical demand. And so when one of the parts withdraw or uses, for example, sexual intimacy as leverage or as a tactic to upset or control the other, then this is a contact that can flip to a more negative side. The positive is that there's a lot of chemistry, there's a lot of physical attraction and compatibility, there's a lot of success met through beating off challenges. This is a type of couple that could like to work out together and be very physically active together and have like an intense high sex drive, but also in general a high drive towards succeeding at something. This couple or these two, when together, they tend to care about appearances in a way where they want to be respected or seen as a couple that you shouldn't mess with. And there's that feeling of when these two come together, there's two kind of manifestations as well that can affect a lot the external environments, where either people feel that this is a very like warm and passionate couple to be around, but it can also be a couple that intimidates or frustrates other by excessive outplays of, physical contact, or, those couples that tend to make out a lot in public, or fight and argue a lot in public, or have like jealousy reactions, but just shown very outwardly. This is a couple with a big ego as well, so it's very important that both in this connection find a way to balance the ego-driven demands and commands with a more soft emotional expression as well, because these two can like it rough. These two can like to do things that are wild and physically, again, engaging. This is not the type of couple that likes to just sit around and chill and watch Netflix for, a week in a row. there's a need for stimulation, and usually they find a lot of stimulation when interacting with each other, either physically or by pursuing challenges or bringing up challenges within each other. That's why in a lower state or in a more low vibrational, this contact sometimes creates a lot of drama, because subconsciously these two are creating this drama to keep things stimulating and to keep things interesting. We're joining a very prideful aspect of our nature with the sun, a very ego-driven side, a very generous, warm side as well, with a very kingly aspect within us that demands that appreciation and wants attention and respect and wants to be seen by, in a grandiose light. With Mars, that it's a very demanding energy, very assertive, very passionate, very aggressive, very goal-oriented, very unstoppable force that usually takes no for an answer. So doesn't take no for an answer. So when these two fight, there can be a lot of fireworks the same way when they come together or they make up. So it's a very interesting contact, because there's a lot of fire that's constantly being generated. They can get actually physically warmer around each other. There could be like skin reactions, allergies, or just feeling warm, feeling that the very presence of that person around you makes you hot or hotter than usual. It's this type of connections as well that can make us feel more sexually liberated, right? It's one of those contexts where we can feel like starting to discover our own desires and sexual urges and natures in a very different way. The Mars energy pushes through the ego of the Sun person, and it pushes through that space of wanting here the Sun to take in their energy, the Mars more aggressive side, and create something out of it, because the Sun is a creation energy as well. So the Mars person can be at times very pushy towards the Sun, but in a conjunction, usually there's this effect where the Mars pushes and the Sun generates something out of it. So it can be better results at something they're doing, getting better and better in terms of a physical activity or hobby, getting better and better in terms of their physical shape. So there's a lot of positives that can come as well from this pushy, demanding energy. Another thing is that this is our 2 points that are very masculine dominant, authoritative energies. And so one of the manifestations that can take place as well is that they have a really hard time softening and submitting to the other. So in case that there's a power struggle or one wanting to be here more on the dominant side, this can also create problems, because the Sun and the Mars will not budge or submit to each other easily, and they actually both desire the power or desire the leadership role. And they can go ongoingly, in this vicious cycle of fighting with each other to get that dominant role, instead of just kind of understanding that they're both alphas, and so it's 2 alphas in the room, and each has their own throne and each has their own power and their own say. This is a connection that needs a lot of respect towards each other's personal space and freedom, and not wanting to submit the other to the other's will. But there's usually a temptation to do that, even unconsciously, because they get something out of it most of the times. They get like how you call it? They get off on sometimes upsetting each other, teasing each other, challenging each other, like they get off or turned on even about this. So constructively, when they challenge each other in positive ways, like let's do this or let's do that, or let's see who can get there faster or quicker, but in good determinations of competition, for example, then this aspect can have a wonderful side of just being two, a pairing that it's very sexy, very inhibited and very touchy around each other, very appreciative of the warmth and the dynamic of, stimulation that they provide around each other. Sometimes the Sun and Mars connection can have like a tendency to be very domineering as well around other elements. So it's a couple, again, that can throw, if they're not careful, it's a couple that can throw other people out of balance. They can interfere in the environments they're in when they're being this very loud, challenging, conflict-prone energy, or even when they're just being, in a passionate energy. There can be some jealousy or some inconvenience, some disputes that happens with this couple. People can react to this couple in a opposing, challenging way, or take whatever they're doing as an offense. There can also be a lot of masculine competition. So masculines interfering in the connection itself, or aggressive, situations, trying to break up here the couple's dynamic, because this couple learns a lot through the proper use of energy, anger management, conflict resolutions, and passionate expression. So, and how to create something out of it. And usually it's by conflict and pressure that the couples generate something. So this can also be very much like the type of survival couples, the fighting for this love type of couple, fighting for each other, being there as like each other's superhero, being there as each other's champion, like they come together and they can ultimately feel like they're very like a very invincible, unbreakable force when they are, generating equally, exchanging equally the energy of the Sun and Mars, where they defend each other, they honor each other, they support and withstand anything that is thrown their way. And usually this is when the couple actually starts functioning in this wholesome way within these two aspects. Usually it's true, it's a very hard contact to mess with, to break apart, in the sense that they will defend each other to their death if needed. They will fight for each other. They will take a bullet for each other. They will stand against any animosity or enemy kind of situation to protect the other, because Mars goes to war, is the first one in the line. Mars defense, the good expression of Mars is being the protector, is being the fighter, right? Is going to the battlefield to save other people. So usually the Mars will do a lot for the other planet person, being the Sun, the Moon, Venus. They will stand strong in the face of danger to protect the planet person. And the Sun feels very protected, obviously, but very like, how you call it, like very in depth, or very as well moved by this encouragement of Mars, or this energy that Mars tends to bring around it, where they're constantly wanting to protect the sun, right? Wanting to protect the king, wanting to protect the queen energy, where they want to make sure that the sun continues to shine, the sun continues to produce, the sun continues to be, this guiding light, and their duty, their mission is to be there and honor the other. So it's a very interesting dynamic contact. Usually it works better when the couple has a higher awareness of each other's will and how they tend to use and channel their energy in their own individual pursuits. And it also works really well for couples that are more like freedom seeking or individualistic personalities. For a more soft, gentle, dependent, and very emotional, sensitive person, Mars contacts can be felt as difficult, very challenging. But for someone that is more independent or enjoys their freedom as much as they enjoy connection, or for someone that has a lifestyle that demands a lot of independent moves, this can work really well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully we'll see each other soon.